bring phenomenal men and women who are truly shining their light and walking in their purpose phenomenally. As the proud former Miss 2022 Miss Blind Diva Empowerment Pageant title holder, it's an honor to share in my journey to the crown, which has connected me to go through so many different stages in life and meet so many phenomenal people. As always, I'm proud to represent for Eyes Like Mine Incorporated and be one of the first pageant directors of the infamous Miss Blind Diva Empowerment Pageant. Eyes Like Mine is celebrating their 10-year anniversary this year under the direction of the beautiful founder, Miss Crystal Allen, and Vice President Naquilla Wright-Prevost. I am so honored for the guest that I have with me today because she is truly a resilient, phenomenal, inspirational woman who wears many hats, but is truly a movement all by herself. I am ecstatic to welcome to Diva Time the beautiful Miss Lisa Durden. Clap for that.
Glad for that. I am amazing.
Yes, girl, you are. You better say it, okay? One
Okay.
thing you will learn about Miss Lisa, she lets you make sure you own who you are.
Yes.
As always, Lisa, I always start off by just sharing a little bit on how I am introduced to the guests that I have on my show because it is a personal journey for me. I was honored to meet Miss Lisa with just my beautiful, beautiful sister by choice, Miss Crystal Allen, back in 2019.
Oh,
And
wow. That long ago?
yes,
Wow.
yes. And I just got teary eyed. I'm like, wow, I was talking to Crystal. I said, it's been that long for me, but it's been since 2017 with Crystal and Eyes Like Mine and the whole movement. So Miss Lisa, I was just blessed to meet her on this occasion. She was filming a documentary that we will talk about a little bit later. So that was my initial introduction to Miss Lisa, and it has truly been a journey ever since then. So Miss Lisa, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm truly honored. I really am to have you with us tonight. And I just want to start by just, if you can just tell the audience a little bit of background about yourself and who is Miss Lisa Durden.
Ooh, do we have enough time for that?
Girl, yes, we got time, honey. We got time.
I got you. To sum it up in a nice neat bow, I am what they call today a multi-hyphenate. So a multi-hyphenate is a person that has multiple different skill sets that they use that sometimes complement each other or sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Thank goodness for that word, because back in the day, when I graduated from college in the 80s, you weren't even born. Whenever you did something, they would say, stick to one thing, but
Right.
But you young folks set people all the way straight. Y'all do multiple items. So we have to learn from y'all. So I'm a multi-hyphenate. So I began as a journalist. Initially I went to college at Seton Hall University in New Jersey, for those of you who are not local. And I went to school for journalism. And I thought I was going to come out of college and be a news anchor like Sue Simmons. If you know, you know.
Okay.
But she's been around till, I think she retired in 2012. So she's been around for a hot minute. But if you don't know, you don't know. And then over time, I realized that, number one, I couldn't find a job back in 1986 when I graduated, because when I went to, they have the little career days and you walk into the room and there's nobody from TV, radio.
Right.
You just have banks and, the military regular jobs. So I never knew how to break into the business. So, of course, that never happened. So I didn't become the next Sue Simmons. I didn't know how to break into the field. So I just got a job as a salesperson. So I have a sales background because I can talk. I got a big mouth. So and so the usual thing happened, Goddess, when you're Black and a woman, and I know people get sick of us talking about race and gender, but of course it's an issue.
It's an issue.
I was allowed to work in Kellogg Sales Company selling cereal. Then I left Kellogg Sales Company and became a pharmaceutical rep. I was not that great at the knowledge, but I was a good salesperson. And I was able to go in as a entry-level position, but they would never promote me to management. It was always an excuse.
Okay.
And when you work at a job selling cereal and your nickname is Miss Cornflakes, you selling a hell of a lot of cornflakes.
Okay.
And that was not a name I gave myself. I was at a meeting one day and my boss introduced me to some other lady from another part of the country. She said, "Oh, that's Miss Cornflakes?" I'm like, "What? I'm Miss Cornflakes." Okay. So I got so sick of myself just
Right.
in a job being unhappy. We've all been there before.
Yes, yes.
So I ended up deciding, let me figure this out. So at the age of 28, 30, I left corporate America and decided to kind of try to find my way back into what they call journalism or TV journalism or media at
Right.
the time. So this
Right.
is in 92. Fast forward, got a local talk show on public access. You don't get paid for it. I tried
Yes.
to get my chops together, and 6 months later,
Wow.
they saw my talent and gave me a job as the host of a show called Brick City, and that's how I got my TV personality started. And then I was zoom into today. We had no social media at the time in the 90s
Right.
or any
Right.
of that, but I was preparing myself for something I had no idea about. So when it started blowing up into social media, I had videos and tapes of myself on
Hmm.
television. So then
Okay.
I began to get a lot of opportunities, not a lot, some where I was on now different network television shows, doing debates, and you see the split screen, and you're
Right. Right.
you're battling about this or that. You're talking about the topics, politics, race, social
Yes.
issues, women's
Right.
issues, those kinds of things.
Yes.
But then along the way, I began to kind of like have this personality where people saw me in the streets and said, "Oh, can you bring my organization on your show because we do this, that, and the other." So over the years, people would pitch me different ideas and concepts, and I
Okay.
would just give them the name of the director of Cablevision of Brick City.
Mhm.
But then I never saw these stories being told. I'm thinking, whatever happened to this idea I gave him, or whatever happened to this idea I gave Al
Right.
Clark. So I never saw these stories ever come to life that I thought were good. I didn't just hand over his name if I thought it was a bad idea. So if
Right.
a person had a good idea, if it was a nonprofit that was great, I wanted him to kind of like do a segment on them. So then I realized this white man ain't trying to tell stories unless it's white people.
Hmm.
Because I'm thinking whatever happened to this, that, and the third. Then the last straw was when Tiger Woods, remember when he first got big. So if
Yes.
Tiger Woods first got big, everybody wants to be the next Tiger Woods. So a
Right.
black man out of Newark, New Jersey, whose wife worked for Prudential, she saw me at an event and said, "My husband has this organization called Renaissance Golf. So, come in, we want to be a segment on your show, Brick City, the show." I said, "That's a great idea." So I decided, instead of giving the name to them, "Oh, call Al Clark," I pitched it to Al Clark myself because I wanted
Hmm.
to make sure it got on because I didn't know what happened to the other ideas. So I
Right.
pitched the idea to Al Clark. He thought it was a great idea. It got on. I wrote the script for the segment. We went out there and shot the kids playing golf at Weequahic Park in Newark, and we did a whole. I interviewed the two founders in the studio and the whole nice what they call a package. So
Right.
now I'm sitting in front of the teleprompter. We're about to, roll tape for me to do the introduction to the segment. And I'm
Yes.
sitting on the teleprompter. "Hi, I'm Lisa Durden, and welcome to Brick City. On today's show, we have," and I saw urban golf. So I said, "Wait a minute, Al Clark, and you have an ear prompt on." He's in the control room. I said, "No, no, no. It's called Renaissance Golf, not urban golf." He said, "Well, what's the big deal?" And I'm thinking, that's not the name.
Right.
And I said, and I'm Lisa Durden 2.0 now. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, now. I
Y'all
was
will
Lisa
learn.
Durden,
Y'all will learn what that is. Go
you're gonna
ahead,
learn
Lisa.
today. I was Lisa Durden 1.0 at that time. I was in my 20s. So
Okay.
I didn't have the teeth I needed. But anyway, I
Okay.
knew something was weird. So I was still stood up though. I wasn't like, I didn't go hard like I normally do, but I just stood up. I said, "Well, it does matter because that's not the name of the company. I'm gonna be embarrassed when the guy sees the segment and we don't have the name right."
Right.
He said, "Well, what's the big deal?" I said, "Well, Al, if it's not a big deal, change the name back to Renaissance Golf because that's the name." Oh, Al got mad and he said, "All right." Then he's dropping F bombs and all this behind the scenes. And, I don't give a damn. Just change the name. But
Right.
it took me about 6 months after to realize he meant to change the name to Urban Golf. He
Hmm.
meant for people to see the name Urban Golf because he wanted to make people think these are some Negroes coming on TV. Well, you
Hmm.
never see the kids anyway. But you tried so hard to play the race card, as they call it, that
Right.
you wanted to change. This is not like, back in the old, remember the old roots when they tried to call this
Right.
man
Right.
Toby, his name is Kunta Kinte.
Yes. Yes.
This is not no Toby Kunta Kinte situation with this
Right.
man. You
Right.
changing this man's name. The name of the company is Renaissance Golf Inc., and that's what you're gonna keep it. So I
Right.
I started to realize, you know what? Now I understand because I was young at the time too. I would hear black people say a little bit, "Oh, when you're black, you really want to tell your own stories." It wasn't as much now because we didn't have as much media, but it was like, oh. So that's when I realized, okay, This man wanted to do what he wanted to do because he had the power. I had
Right.
no power
Right.
because he's the storyteller. I rely on him to tell that story. So fast forward, I said, after this, if another good idea comes across my desk, I'm going to tell the story. And that's what sparked me to be a documentary filmmaker. So the
Wow.
next story that came to the table, I didn't even pitch it to him. I just did a documentary. And ever since then, little by little, I began producing my own documentaries and
Yeah.
also applying for freelance jobs as a filmmaker because I needed to feed my pay the bills. So I became a professional filmmaker just from the idea of trying to level the playing field and trying to tell stories of underserved people. And
Right.
then there, I just kind of like either stumbled upon stories or I seek them out. So it just worked
Right.
out. So that's kind of how I ended up like as a multi-hyphenate. So now when I say multi-hyphenate, I'm a public speaker.
Yes.
I'm an MC and a host. I host fashion shows and all kinds of things. I
Yes.
also sit on panels and I go to panels at festivals and all kinds of panels and speak. I'm a television, a national TV personality, and I'm also an award-winning producer. Clap for
Yes.
all of that. Clap for
Clap
Jack.
for all of
Yeah,
that. Yes.
yes. Oh,
Yes.
hey,
But
T. Yes,
yes, go you, the real diva. Okay, Miss
yes,
Lisa, and all of that. The message in all of that was your determination and your
yes.
perseverance and embodying resilience, and just that's what you went through. So you're able to give that to so many. And the one thing that I definitely want to shine the light on, I want you to talk about in your words. You summed that up so great because you wear a lot of hats and you did that perfectly. But I want people to really understand the true vision, because I love when you tell your interaction with how you got involved with Eyes Like Mine and your
Yeah.
experiences over the years with doing so much, from hosting the Miss Blind Diva pageant, Dancing with the Blind,
Mhm.
and the upcoming Blind Divas documentary. If you can take us through that journey,
Oh
um,
yeah.
I could hear this story over and over again. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they didn't hear all the things. So I'm going to tell them
No.
all the things.
Okay.
So I'm always being honored for the things I do, and I don't look for honors. I don't look for
No.
accolades. I don't
Yes.
look. I don't look for pats on the back. But when I get them, I appreciate them. So I
Yes.
was being honored at an award ceremony here in the city of Newark, and so was Crystal Allen, one of the founders of Eyes Like Mine. So it was a few women, somebody from the world of business. I was from media and entrepreneurship and so forth and so on. So there was about 6 women being honored. And so when you get honored, there's an event, people are there, and you have a little food. And by the time they began, like now introducing each person and bringing them up, they read our bios and
Mm-hmm.
said, so and so come up. So they lined us up, and then we lined up. People were clapping, and we got our little award. So Crystal, the little the little network, the little networker that she is, she's literally little. I'm 5'11". She's actually short, but she's a very good networker. So after it was over, it's over. We're working the room, taking photos and things like that. So she walked up to me. I saw her cane, and so I'm thinking, okay. So she said, "Oh, I heard the things they were saying about you. It sounds like you've done a lot of stuff in media, and you do all this speaking and panels. I mean, you sound like you're great. I would love to talk with you and get to know you more." So I'm thinking, sure. And girl, I was embarrassed. Luckily, it was my inside voice. So Crystal said, "Text me. Here's my number." I'm thinking, "Bitch, ain't you blind?" I mean, I was thinking, "Bitch, ain't you blind?" Now, because this is in 2017, y'all. It's not now. It's back,
Yes.
because I was thinking, bitch, ain't you blind? Text you
Right.
can't see that shit. So that's what I was thinking. So something said, girl, don't say that you're going to be embarrassing. And my sister's
Yes.
always, this is a classy one. I call my sister classy. I'm assy. And
Yes.
my sister was with me. So I said, oh God, I'm going to embarrass my sister. My sister
Right.
Jackie. So I said, okay, don't say that, girl. Just say yes and don't do it. I wasn't planning on doing it. I'm thinking, whatever. So I took her number with no intentions on texting, because I'm thinking you can't see the text. But
Mm-hmm.
then I talked myself out of the stupidity. I said to myself, girl, just text the woman. What do you care? Maybe, and I thought something stupid, like maybe she lives with somebody and they're gonna see the text for her. If
Yes.
she texts her, who are you to question it? So I
Right.
talked myself out of being stupid with a still little stupidity. So the next day I text her, hey, Crystal, this is Lisa, the girl you met the other day. Sure, let's get together. Bling! In 5 seconds, she said, yeah, let's get together. What the
Yep.
hell? I thought I was gonna wait a whole week to get the response. Bling! I got
No,
the
ma'am. Right away.
money. So then I'm still stupid. I'm thinking, oh, maybe she lives with somebody. I'm seeing all these things that we don't know about the blind world.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So I said, okay, we got together at IHOP in Newark, New Jersey, across from the University of Medicine and Dentistry, which I love IHOP. That particular one is always good service and the food is always good. So we sit there. So I'm sitting there. I beat Crystal that she's always late. So,
Clap for that.
watching, So I beat her
Speak
there.
fashionably.
Okay, yes. So I was there. So I saw her walk in the door with the cane. So she's walking and I'm thinking, where's the person that she came with? She came in by herself. So then I'm still making things. Oh, somebody drove her there and they're going to pick her up. I'm thinking of all these things. I don't know about things like, adaptive technology at the time. I don't know about access link. I don't know about any of these things. I'm just still making up stuff in my head. But of course, I'm not saying anything. So as we're sitting there, we ordered some food. Then all of a sudden, while we're waiting for the food, her phone starts talking and saying, you have 4 messages. You have a text. I'm like, what the hell? Her phone's talking to her?
Exactly.
Now I know we all can put that part on our phone if we want to be lazy.
Yeah.
So my phone can do it too if I wanted to use
That's
the technology.
right. Yeah, exactly.
We're used to having sites. We don't use the technology we all have in our phone.
Absolutely right.
Then I said, oh my God, that's how she knew about the text. It told her, oh, this is great. So now just sitting there, just that one piece of information was so amazing. I said, that's how she knows. It's in the technology. So then I knew she learned about my text.
Right.
So after so she did the networking and she said, listen, so we broke bread and chatted about whatever. Then she just straight up, Crystal, straight ask you for stuff. I would love it if you could be the MC of the Miss Blind Diva Empowerment pageant. I said, sure. So I did that 2017.
Yeah.
And the rest is
history.
And she says we're Velcro now.
Yes. Yes. And
yep.
she sure is. But that's why I wanted you to tell you, because you tell it direct and real, because it is that it's okay to have that like we say stupidity or that ignorance, because you just don't know. And
you don't know.
Often share, that's why I have such a humorous attitude about it, because I know that if my situation wouldn't have happened, an accident, I wouldn't have never known what was possible of men, women, and children in this community. So I love to hear those real depictions, because it shows how over the years you have grown with eyes like mine and being around our community. Now you can tell somebody it's assistive technology. They have this, they do that. They have this, they do that, which led to you wanting to put this in a film. But it's a very unique story on how that even came to about. If you'll share a little bit about that.
Yeah. Before I share how I came to decide to actually produce a documentary about the Blind Divas, which is Crystal Allen and Nicole Prevo, who are both the owners of Eyes Like Mine Inc. And you're in it too, girl.
Yes.
By the time 2021 came around, I had been, just we became friends, breaking bread, MC Miss Blind Diva pageant, emceeing the Dancing with the Blind. I had been around them. So after a while, I got comfortable to the point where I stand on the side where they order, stuff from IHOP and take money out their pocket. In the beginning, I was like, how do you know how much money you take out your pocket? How do you know you're not? They would tell me I would set my money up in certain ways in the morning. So over the years, I learned about the world, how they buy things, how they get around. I learned about Access Link. I'm like, Access Link, what is that? So over time, I'm learning how they're getting around on their own, traveling on the plane, and how they're going to other states by themselves. And all of this, I'm meeting other blind people who have bands and they're going around the world playing in bands. And we have people, who are bodybuilders, who are blind. I mean, I learned that the world is no different than our world. The only difference they're doing, they're having sex and dating each other, honey, please.
Yes.
The drama is real, honey. They got,
You better tell them, Lisa. It's the real world.
Relationships, and they be arguing with who's got who's zooming who this week. It's just fun. So in other words, a blind person's still a person. So that's kind of like, it took me years to kind of just by being around them, unpeeling the layers. So here's how I came up with the idea of the documentary called Blind Divas. I wasn't looking to do a documentary about them or anybody. I was too busy finishing up, college. I finished my master's in 2021. I have an MFA in social documentary filmmaking, and that's a master's in fine arts in social documentary filmmaking. I didn't go back to school because I wasn't a working professional. I went back to maybe teach on the college level, because you need a master's to teach on the college level. In between freelance jobs, I figured I would, teach. So anyway, a distributor who had distributed another short film I had done called Girls Matter on their platform called Light Beam TV. The guy emailed and said, "Hey, listen, we're doing something with African American women in cinema. It's going to be a pitch competition, and we're collaborating with them to have people, send us applications to see if we can select them for a pitch competition. Why don't you apply for this pitch competition? And if you get into the finals, you pitch at the festival." Oh, I don't see you on screen now, Goddess. I think you went off screen. I think you're not showing your what happened, Goddess. Hello, are you seeing me, Goddess? Hello, Goddess. Do you see me? Goddess. I don't know what happened to Goddess. I don't know. Oh, you hear me? Oh, you hear me? Oh, we're back. Oh, we're back. Oh, hey. Oh, hey, Lewis. I think we're back. Oh, we're back. Something happened. Goddess, do you hear me? I don't see you, but I'm gonna keep talking. Oh, I see. She's coming back now because I didn't know what happened. Okay. So, well, I see Goddess's name, but I won't see her face. So I'll just keep going while you guys are watching. So anyway, so I was being invited to apply for this pitch competition that was going to be happening at a film festival called African American Women in Cinema. So I wasn't getting any favors. He just said, "Oh, we're hosting this pitch competition." So I went ahead and applied through a platform called Film Freeway, and I applied with a little what they call a one sheet. Because at first I wasn't gonna. I said, "Okay, I'll think about something." At first I wasn't gonna pitch anything. I had no idea, because they were looking for things about people who are in the disability space, and so I didn't have any ideas. I said, "Oh, disability space." I didn't have anybody, any ideas. But then as I sat around for about 2 weeks or so, I thought, wait a minute, I know Crystal and Nicole. Let me do something about the blind community, because that's disability. So I said, what could be the name? Oh, Blind Divas, something kind of catchy. So I wrote up a little one sheet. I went online and it was free to apply. I applied. I put the one sheet up there, boom, bam, bam. I don't know why I got to keep going in and out, but I think I'm still here. I don't know if you guys hear me, but I'm going to keep talking. So, and then about 2 or 3 weeks later, I got it. We got accepted in the top 8 people, so the 8 finalists. So then the 8 finalists had to now pitch at the festival in November 2021, and you had to do a 5-minute pitch. So I'm like practicing, and I had to twist Crystal's arm because she works every day and she's busy and it's tiring. I had to push her to say, "Hey girl, I want you to come into it was a pitch via Zoom, because we were still kind of like not fully out of, the COVID situation. So we're still doing things via Zoom." So I said, "Let's practice this thing." And she was like, trying to practice. And she was like grumbling, "I'm busy, I'm tired." No, let's just get it done. So we practiced our little pitch and what she's going to say and what I'm going to say. And so boom, it came time for the actual physical pitch at the festival via Zoom. And we were in there pitching. There were in one woman dropped out. There were 7 finalists. And everybody's pitching. I pitched. And when I started pitching, I talked what I had to talk. I said, "And by the way, let's meet one of the blind divas." And then she came on. Not one person brought their character to the pitch. I did. And honey, people were loving Crystal. She said her part and she was killing it. And then I said my part, and boom, was literally 5 minutes. I don't play that. So when it was over, that was all said and done. There were a couple of decent pitches too. And boom, I got notified, I think a week or so later, that we were one of the winners. We were so good that they ended up picking 2 winners, because they didn't want to, I knew I was going to win. So they picked 2 instead of 1. They were planning on picking 1. So that's how we, got picked to,